Now, is everything all ready for Her Majesty to be here for her party after what happened earlier on today? Ah, c'est magnifique. C'est magnifique indeed. Wonderful to hear. Oh, you caught me just being in character again. Well, what's up guys? Hi everyone, it's me Jack Wright here once again from my theatre vlog series itself of Theatregoing Revival, and join me in half an hour from 7 o'clock exclusively live here on YouTube for another exciting episode of my theatre vlog series itself, where I'm reviewing another unexpected musical, which unbelievably it is another one that's all based around one of the most famous historical figures in French monarchy history. That's right everybody, if you're wondering why I happen to be wearing a very similar outfit which I did wear for one of my, believe it or not, my coronavirus lockdown sing-along performances of when I did a medley of songs from the classic French musical itself of Les Miserables, well, that is not what I'm covering in this episode. I'm going to be covering the new musical, the pop-based dance musical itself, and all based around the unbelievable story and also the rise to fame of the famous French Queen Consort herself, of Marie Antoinette. And also that's going to be featured in, also performed in a modern way like nothing else before. And join me once again, Jack Wright, live here on YouTube, once again from 7 o'clock here on YouTube as I cover the brand new musical that is Cake and the Marie Antoinette playlist. See you all then everyone. Bonsoir. We ready to go? Well, I did not see this coming. It feels like I'm being repetitive, but I honestly did not see myself coming or also expecting to go and see this musical. I know I did tell my dad John almost like at the last minute, but when I found out some of the people who were in the cast, I mean the former West End queens of Six in there, the likes of my favourite actress, Minnie O'Connell, and the original Catherine of Aragon, Renée Lamb, playing, I'm trying to remember the character she's playing. But she's one of the main people. And especially to have that former Mary Poppins actress, Zizi Strallen, playing the main role. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away when we start filming, but I'm really excited for this. I mean, who would have thought that we'd see a musical out of this? A dance and pop-based musical, very similar to the likes of Six and Hamilton, believe it or not. It is just so crazy. That it's just so unique, and it's such a shame that it's going to be performing for one final week this week. It's not been as popular, even though it had strong, public opinion and popularity, like right from the beginning, like last year. And yeah, that's just. It's unfortunate, isn't it? Well, anyway, I'm sure we'll get a chance to really embrace the world of course, of that famous French Queen Consort herself. And we can definitely stuff ourselves silly with a lot of very sweet confectionery, and that being cake also too. Yeah, well, honestly, who knows? And I'm looking forward to debuting also a cosplay. I know he's not a character based in this production, but just like with Six, you know, when I'm being Henry VIII, my version of Napoleon Bonaparte will also make an appearance tonight as well. It's going to be really exciting. Anyway, yeah, let's get underway. I know we're running a little bit late because of I know that I've only just got this on, but I've topped up on my makeup and everything, so yeah, I'm ready to go. And oh yeah, of course, yeah, we have got an audience in tonight, haven't we? Because yeah, this is actually another show that well, most people may want to know a little bit more about. So yeah. All right then, yeah, let's quickly just do that. Yeah, I'll just do this speech and then we'll get underway. Sorry about that, everybody. Good evening. Bonsoir, mesdames and messieurs. As you can tell, Thank you very much for also the compliments on my costume. For some of you who already know me very well, my name is Jack Wright, writer, producer and presenter of my theatre vlog series and my 5th belated anniversary series for that matter of Theatregoing Revival, and I welcome you to the next episode in the series after a few episodes off without an audience. And this is all about the brand new musical of Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist, all based off the incredible story and her rise to power, being the Queen Consort before the French Revolution in the 17th century, in the year 1799. This is a brand new musical that I'm completely only just found out about since last year, but there are loads of great stars from the West End that are in this. I can honestly I'm so sad to say that this will be the last week it's being performed for, due to not much popularity and not many, it's not viable for the production to carry on since it hasn't sold that many tickets. But I'm certainly grateful to be covering this and also seeing it as well, and I hope you get to see me meet some of the cast after, and also stuff yourself silly with a bit of sweet confectionery for that matter as well, because I mean that's what the theme of the show is kind of like, based off one of the famous quotes from the late Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake, of course, a very famous phrase for some of you the historians out there and enthusiasts out there. But I hope you enjoy yourself, and we've also got more to talk about. There's loads more exciting shows that I've also still got planned for the remainder of this year, which you'll find out later on in the programme. So hope you enjoy, have a great time, get your glow sticks ready, because I mean all the music in this show, literally it's almost like very reminiscent of the likes of Hamilton and Six the Musical, which I've covered many times, not just on this show but also to the other ones that I've done from earlier on this year as well. But hope you enjoy, everyone, and I hope you have a great evening. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, let's go, let's stand by, let's get this next episode of Theatregoing Revival underway. messieurs, it is Tuesday, the 24th of September, 2024, and we are exclusively live from the studios of Jackpot Button Lewis Productions and from the other palace in the West End part of London. And welcome to another episode of the Theatre Vlog series itself of Theatregoing Revival. And now, mesdames and messieurs, please welcome your host for tonight's show, a newly appointed General of the Royal French Army. Please welcome your General for this evening, General Jacques Wright. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thank you very much. How are you doing? Bonjour, bonsoir, mesdames and messieurs. It's good to be back. Thank you very much. Thank you. What a warm welcome. Merci beaucoup. Merci. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Okay, that's enough. Thank you very much. And also for that wonderful warm welcome, my fellow mesdames and messieurs. I don't think I could keep that for much longer. Well, everybody, hi guys. You already knew it was me all along. What's up, guys, as well? My name is Jack Wright, also known as Jackpot Button Lewis on YouTube, and Real Next Gen King Henry VIII on Instagram here, and welcome once again to another edition of my one and only theatre themed vlog series, that is Theatregoing Revival. And with this episode, as you can tell from my very fancy costume, which unbelievably I actually haven't worn for a long time, everybody. The last time I actually wore this is actually based off a French grenadier soldier costume from the 18th century. And it was one that I quite famously wore from one of my coronavirus lockdown sing-along performances, where I did a medley of songs from the classic French musical that is Les Miserables. But for this time, it's nothing to do with Les Miserables in this episode, and let's get straight on with it, because unfortunately I've had problems with my camcorder leading up to this, and as I'm currently only on half my battery at the moment, so I can only apologise for this happening. But with that, without no other things to say, let's get straight on with, of course, the show that I'm covering in this episode of Theatregoing Revival. And this one is, unbelievably, if you are wondering why I've happened to wear this costume, it may not be Les Miserables that I'm covering here on this episode of Theatregoing Revival, but another musical that has been going around since last year has also surfaced up, and it's also based off one of the most famous scandals from one of the most famous queen consorts in all of French monarchy history. And today here on Theatregoing Revival, I'm reviewing the West End run production from the theatre of the Other Palace of Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist.
Let there be cake.
That's right, everybody, there you go. Unfortunately, due to this being quite a new musical work, there hasn't been much of an official trailer showing footage of the show. I think they're quite secretive over it, the production team that are doing it currently at the moment. But there you go, everybody. That is the best I could get from, once again, Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist. An unbelievable musical that I only just found out about just from earlier on, a few weeks back actually for that matter. And the whole reason why that I decided to cover this show is not just because there's a few favourite performers of mine from the West End in there, but it's also the story as well, because as I was just about to say, Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist is a dance/pop-based musical piece, all done in one act, just the same to Six the Musical, and slightly longer by just by 20 minutes, about an hour and a half. And it talks about it's a modern retelling and also crossover and take on the very famous Queen Consort herself of Marie Antoinette, who was a very famous French-based, of course that being Queen Consort, who was married to Louis the 15th, I think, actually, from back in the 17th century, and there was quite a famous scandal that happened where she was falsely accused and actually was expected to be punished or possibly executed for stealing a very precious French diamond. And when I heard about this, I thought, wow, what an incredible story to base it around. I mean, obviously taking huge influences from the likes of Six and Hamilton music-wise, and as you saw some of the costumes there, if you might have recognised actually someone who's actually no stranger to playing big roles in West End musical shows, and that being Zizi Strallen. She is playing the lead role of Marie in a beautiful, very feminine based costume. It looked actually kind of like a catwalk, model style costume she wore. A very modern take and very kind of like expressionism style costume. Very familiar to like the clothes that loads of young ladies wore in France back in that period, and very different to the dresses that they wore. But it's also got it's got a very interesting avant-garde style, of course, and I know that's a French art style, but I think that's a very unique of course, piece of or style of clothing they were going for actually basing it around the show. But also, with that being said, as I've said, also the likes of former queens who've been in Six the Musical, the West End production, such as Millie O'Connell, who I last saw play the role of, I think it was Princess Rose in Sleeping Beauty, the Fairy's Tale for the Christmas pantomime we saw at the Norwich Theatre from last year. She is back doing this show, playing one of the lead roles in that as well, alongside with the likes of also Renée Lamb playing one of the main characters alongside Zizi Strallen, who was the original Catherine of Aragon on the original studio cast album, and also was the very first person to play the role of Catherine of Aragon when Six was first written, unbelievably, over 6 years ago to this year, would you believe? But as well as that, also in the ensemble, Zara McIntosh, a former Six Queen who played as alternate in, I think it was the second cast that were performing at the Arts Theatre from back in 2019, is also there as well. And a few other people in there which I'm really excited to see. And honestly, I can't wait to see this show. Honestly, it's very different, as you know, to most other shows that I have covered so far this year on Theatregoing Revival. But that's what I love. I absolutely love the variety and different kinds of shows that we've seen over the last few months. And this one is no exception. So with before my battery goes, it's literally on red and it's about to flash and cut out. Let's go and see, and of course we're going to now head over and take a train this time now to, once again, to London, and more specifically the other palace where the production is going to be, unfortunately, having one of its last performances due to, unfortunately, the ticket sales of being very low, and it's not been viable enough for the production to continue. It initially was going to go on until November, but unfortunately, due to not many tickets being sold, the run had to sadly be cut short. And unbelievably, believe it or not, the gala performance of this show was expected to happen earlier on or later on this week as of recording this, so which is a real shame. But let's see why, of course, unfortunately, the show had to be cut short, but it's not to say that the show will be bad or anything. Oh, no. It's going to be to all those people who may have missed out on a very unique musical production, and let's see why it has become a unique and quite I think I think you could say what's the word I'm trying to think of? I think it is well, basically the unordinary. It's quite a quirky one as well, for that matter. And let's see why it has got that, of course, privilege of still getting the chance to be performed in front of an audience. So, let's kick off once again another episode of my theatre vlog series of Theatregoing Revival, as I go and see the short-lived West End run at the Other Palace Theatre in London's West End, as I go and see the new and very catchy and pop dance-based historical crossover musical, that is Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist. Here's what happened when I went to see the show. Hope you all enjoy. My goodness, I can't believe I left that one late. I'm gonna have to charge me a camcorder next time for that one. Oh my goodness me. And all I can say for that is definitely sacre bleu indeed. And with that very quick change there from going from Littleport Station also to London King's Cross, here we are outside the very familiar place of the Other Palace here in London's West End, and honestly it's amazing to be back here, and it's crazy to think that the last time I was here was back in 2016 when it was called the St James Theatre, and I also saw the off-West End production of the last 5 years starring Samantha Bucks and Jonathan Bailey. But this time it is completely different, this show that we're seeing, that being Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist. And as you can see already, I've made a quick change out of course what you saw me with earlier on, and I'm now of course got my own modern take, as you can see, with the sunglasses and also my tricorn hat, and also my very nice personalised Napoleon Bellefonte style of course hoodie with some boots here and some trousers. I'm doing my modern take on the very famous of course French army general himself of Napoleon Bonaparte, who was quite well known for actually being around during the same time period as Marie Antoinette. He actually witnessed her execution after the first few years of the French Revolution. But I'm really excited. It's such a shame to see the show be going, because it's been such a unique and unorthodox style musical, which was the word I was trying to find out in the last part of this vlog. But I'm really excited to seeing this, and I hope it goes out with bang, and especially with lighting the fuse to, of course, revolution, which is one of the big themes around this musical. So without further ado, here on Theatregoing Revival for another episode, let's go and see, unfortunately, the once and only time performance of Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist, here from the Other Palace, just off the West End of London, here on my theatre vlog series, once again, of Theatregoing Revival. Enjoy the show, everyone! Who was he?
Men like him have been getting away with this kind of thing forever.
Unbelievable.
Isn't though, is it? They were never going to keep him locked up. His privilege will always protect him. Speaking of which, you have a visitor. It's me. Marie.
I know.
Well, Marie. Well, let me explain. A little thief wants to explain her treachery. All right, let's hear it.
Look, it wasn't supposed to happen like this.
No shit. Quelle surprise! And what, pray tell, was supposed to happen?
Well,
trick the cardinal into giving you the money for that ghastly necklace so you could use it to buy your way into my palace? I suppose framing me was a nice little extra bonus. Did you see yourself as some kind of replacement?
No. I only wanted what my family lost. I should be up there with you. I was only taking back what's mine.
So the cardinal, the letters, the sex worker,
All part of the setup.
it's actually genius. And a relief, to be totally honest. For 1 second I thought I'd become friends with a filthy revolutionary. Turns out you were just looking after number one. Very good, we're the same, you and I.
I'm nothing like you.
True. I'm an iconic queen, destined for the history books. And you're a small-time hustler that no one will remember.
Fuck you.
No, fuck you! The whole of Paris thinks I'm guilty. I'm being put on house arrest until the crowds break in, drag me out, and kill me by hand.
Well, I'm stuck in here until they decide whether to brand me or execute me. So yay, babes, looks like we're twinning.
Don't name me as your accomplice.
Don't leave me in here to die.
I can't be seen helping you escape.
Oh, and here I was thinking you were the queen.
Oh, there's only so many ways I can explain this to Eugene. In that ghastly royal court full of skinny, pale men, I am but the tits and the teeth. Which isn't bad for a woman who was trafficked into marriage at 15 and forced to copulate with a man who she doesn't love.
Do you think my life has been any better? Get over yourself! You know, the difference between you and me is that you get to sit in your nice little palace with your nice clothes and your nice shoes, but if you don't actually do anything, what is the point?
Of course I have nice clothes and shoes. I'm Queen Marie Antoinette, for fuck's sake. But I trust in our monarchy. If we didn't have it, then society would break down. Total anarchy, no society at all. And the people need me, actually. They love me. That is the point.
Okay.
I love my life. Who wouldn't want my life? It's absolutely perfect.
Fair enough.
I wouldn't change a thing. Even if I wanted to, I wouldn't change a thing. I actually couldn't change anything. Even if all I desperately desired was to change everything. I couldn't change anything. I couldn't change anything. I couldn't change anything.
But what if you could?
What if I could? What if I could?
Yeah. A cake? Are you drunk?
Yes.
I'm stuck in here, and you bring me a cake.
It when in life does one not need
Now, right now, I do not need cake.
Since I've known you, I'm the happiest I've ever been.
I know.
You have taught me to be braver and better which is why I want you to know that you can have your cake and eat it too.
You have severely misunderstood that saying.
Jeanne de Valois-Saint-Rémy, you are called to testify.
Marie, I don't know what to do.
Jeanne de Valois-Saint-Rémy.
Make the right choice.
What?
Like that fuse, Jean.
Hold on, give me one more day. Why do I feel like this, so ashamed? I never thought I'd feel this way.
Too late.
Can I change my mind?
Too late.
Can we turn back time?
Too late.
Can we start again?
Too late. Too late.
My grief got the best of me. How rich do you need to be? Looking back, I can finally see it's too late. It's too late. Oh, if I betray her, then there'll be no glory. Oh, I'm going to love her. Is this how our friendship ends? Oh, there must be some way that everybody wins. It can't just end like this. I've been feeling guilty. I've been feeling guilty. Chasing all the wrong things. I can feel my heart rate so bleeding. I'm empty and I'm worthless. I'm lost and cold and paying for all the wrong things. Oh, I lost control.
What if you pinned the whole thing on the girl, and then we could both be free?
Make Nicole take the blame for something I've done.
Then you could still have everything you wanted.
No, I know you're better than that.
If you name me, they will kill me.
And your love is worth so much more than hers.
Oh no, I don't know.
Hold on, I just need more time. All I ever wanted was what's mine. And now I see that I've been blind.
Too late.
Can't we work it out?
Too late.
Should I send her down?
Too
Can
late.
we start again?
Too late. Too late.
But your greed got the best of you. At what cost to your fancy shoes? Champagne was a poor excuse. It's too late, it's too late. Oh, but I'll remember how it felt to love you. Oh, you've been a best friend inside this lonely world. A world designed by men. I've been feeling guilty. I've been feeling guilty. Chasing all the wrong things. I can feel my heart rate so bleeding. I'm empty and I'm worthless. I'm lost and cold and paying for all the wrong things. So I lost control. From your Parisian queen. A key. It's time to open the door. You know, there was a version of this where I escaped and came to be with you.
But maybe we are capable of being something more than who we are. And this is it, isn't it?
Something bigger than both of us.
In centuries to come, this will be it. And it's you, the single spark that lit the fuse.
For this to work, I'll have to testify against you. You're going to join us, Jean. I'll help the fight more by staying here. And Nicole, you're going to need these more than me. You won't be forgotten for this. You can't promise that. Viva la revolution!
I'll make them remember and tell them our story. About the rich queen, how our person can start the revolution. So
Tired of feeling guilty.
put yourself a person in a pit.
Time to do the right thing. here we are. Back at the start, you're all caught up.
Accused of theft and treason.
And the great question still hangs.
Did you or did you not enter into the world's largest diamond heist with Queen Marie Antoinette? The people demand the truth.
The people. The people. Okay. My name is Jeanne de Valois-Saint-Rémy. I wanted to reclaim what had been stolen from me and my family, but I now know that in doing that, I would only be taking my place in a shit system that no longer serves our people. You, me, the only accomplices we should be focusing on are the ones who benefit from keeping us poor, angry, and divided. So I will do whatever I can with what little power I have. Because I don't know about you, but I think it is time for a revolution. My accomplice was Marie Antoinette. You won't believe me, but it will be enough. It has begun. I wish there was another way. What happens now, Nicole? The revolution begins. The people fall. Hope, growth, division, destruction. Hope, growth, division, destruction. And the world keeps spinning like that for centuries and centuries until...
That's unbelievable. I can't believe that it's only just been over a week since it's closed, and what a show. Such a cruel outcome for this production. Honestly, they should have deserved better. Well, everybody, as you did actually see there, that is sadly all the footage I could get from once again the short West End run. Unfortunately, make that a very short run of the current West End run production at the other palace of Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist. And as you can see, I'm out of my Napoleon Barnafonte outfit from earlier on, and I've got a very appropriate Viva Revolution, of course, shirt instead, which I bought especially to do this next part of the review. And with that being said, also that is, as I've said already, unfortunately all the footage I can get from the show. But honestly, guys, I have got a lot to cover in this, of course, this part of the review, and I have been really looking forward to this because it's now time to review and give my thoughts on this truly unique and also brand new and also quite a remarkable production for that matter as well. And of course, here is the wonderful programme which has got the wonderful both Zizi Strallen playing the role of Marie, which is the modern take on the character, or of course the historical figure, believe it or not, who was the last queen consort before the French Revolution in the 17th century, and also in 18th century, my apologies, and also on the left-hand side, there on the left-hand side, and on the right side in blue is the amazing Renée Lamb playing the role of Jeanne, who unbelievably was actually based off a real-life person, because she was a modern interpretation of someone who in real life was quite a well-known noblewoman from that period, and her full name was, I think it was Jeanne de Valois-Saint-Rémy, I think that's what she was called, and she was the very first person to acknowledge or wanting to reflect change in the country, because she was, even though she was a noblewoman, she did have sympathy for all of the poor and working class people in the country at that time. Very quite reminiscent actually, because remember this is a few, of course, years before the events of Les Miserables came about, but it's also very interesting to know that this had a bit of a nod to it, but since it had not acknowledged the start of the French Revolution when it talked about it. But anyway, as I said already, let's of course get really stuck in and really sink our knife into this piece of like that, of course, very sickly sweet musical theatre, since of course it was called Cake, and there was a reference of a cupcake actually in the show, but for some of you who may not know already, earlier on, if I'd not said before, there was the famous of course misinterpretation of the famous phrase "let them eat cake." And initially that was before the likes of Marie Antoinette came around. I think actually, if I can just quickly get my phone here, I can find out the exact person who actually first referenced that quote, and it goes back to, because it's the translation of the French phrase "Qui le wheels mangeait de la brioche." And that was said to have been spoken in the 18th century by a great princess upon being told that the peasants had no bread. And it was originally conventionally attributed to Marie Antoinette, but although there has been no evidence that she ever uttered it, and it's now known as generally regarded as a journalistic cliche. And the French phrase meant brioche, a type of bread enriched with butter and eggs, considered a luxury food of the period, and it was taken, the quote, to reflect either the princess's frivolous disregard for the starving peasants or her poor understanding of their plight, which, funny enough, Marie Antoinette herself in real life French history was quite reminiscent of that, because that's how she was brought up, even though she married someone at quite a very young age, very quite reminiscent of Catherine Howard during the Tudor period, but this of course was a few centuries after that, so But yeah, and actually it does say here that it can be traced back to a person called Jean-Jacques Rousseau in Confessions, which was an autobiographical book by him. And in the modern era, it was published with the title The Confessions of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, in order to distinguish it from St. Augustine's Confessions, which was, I think it was also I wouldn't say it was a magazine, but some kind of form of literature as well. And yeah, so it was 24 years prior to the French Revolution in the year of 1765, and when Marie Antoinette was only 9 years old and had never been to France at that point. And it was only attributed to her decades after her death, and historians do not believe that she said it, which is very true, honestly, because there was that interpretation of it, and also referenced also throughout the show, which I thought was a nice nod to that bit in real life history. And because originally Jean-Jacques Rousseau came from a place called Geneva, which at the time, for some of you may already know, it is well known as the most second populous city in the country of Switzerland after Zurich, and it was known as the country Switzerland of Geneva before it got its name, I think, in later years. But yes, everybody, if you did not know already, I did actually find out who was the real person behind the character that once again Renée played, and her name once again was Jeanne de Valois-Saint-Rémy, and she was born on the 22nd of July 1756 and lived until the 23rd of August 1791, and she was a notorious adventurous and also a thief, and she was also married to Nicolas de la Motte, whose family claim to nobility was dubious. And then she herself was an impoverished descendant of the royal family through a legitimate son of King Henry II of England, who I do know very well. At the time when he became King of England, he was also married to Eleanor of Aquitaine. For some of you, that if you know your history that well, also slightly going off topic, that was actually the first ever £1 million question to be asked on the British game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And once again, going back to Jeanne here, she was well known for the predominant role in the affair of the diamond necklace, and one of the many scandals that led to the French Revolution and to help destroy the monarchy of France. And that being more specifically, at the time it was known as an empire. Or also, it began with the Estates General of 1789 and ended with the coup of 18 Brumaire in November 1799 and the formation of the French consulate. And many of its ideas were considered fundamental principles of liberal democracy, while its values and institutions remained centred to modern French political discourse. So, and that's what the song at the end was all about. Of course, unfortunately, I did find out that the real life character that Renée Lamb did play, unfortunately fell out of a window trying to evade capture after stealing some other form of jewellery, diamond jewellery, when she managed to escape and flee to England at the turn of the 19th century. But anyway, like I said, of course, that is some of the main history behind the story, all once again set to an incredible soundtrack, and also songs of a pop and also dance and electro sound to it. Some were a bit R&B based, and some had chill out sounds to them, and even a bit of garage thrown in there as well. But they were absolutely amazing, some of the songs that were in it, and I think it was very cool that even though it had a modern interpretation of it, it definitely had some influences from the likes of historical shows, but told in a modern way with the likes of Six and also Hamilton. And as I said earlier on, Les Miserables being, I think, one of those other ones that had a bit of a revolutionary theme to them as well. And yeah, so anyway, of course, I want to try and be brief with this, but I just want to start off with the amazing performances of both Zizi Strallen as Marie and Renée Lamb as Jeanne. Honestly, those two together, they were absolutely brilliant. I mean, there were loads of comedic parts in there. There was a bit of strong language as well, which I know that that did take me completely by surprise, but it wasn't not used in out of context. And also, as I've said already, some of the songs that were written for this piece were truly amazing. And I remember very well looking back on when before I saw the show earlier on from last week. I thought I'd get myself acquainted to the soundtrack, and I literally fell in love with it as soon as I started listening to some of the songs. They were so catchy. And also I would like to acknowledge also the amazing, of course, writers, co-writers of the show, two in particular, that being Morgan Lloyd Malcolm and also Tasha Taylor Johnson, who also, I know quite recently, also gave me a follow recently, because I also did give my recent review of this show. And but also I'd like to acknowledge also Jack McManus, who also wrote the music alongside with lyrics, as well as Tasha did, and the likes of Brogna Lagan as the director and Christopher Tendai as the of the one of the choreographers, and also based on the original direction of and choreography by Drew McOney. And also we've got also here the amazing band that were also part of it. And funnily enough, I also found out that one of the members of the band who actually was playing some of the music, one of the drummers, was actually someone who I remember very well from seeing in Six the Musical, the UK tour production from just a few years back, or make that from last year actually, in more particular. And that was Migdalia van der Hoven. I know that she asked for a photo with me when I was Henry VIII after the show, and that was absolutely amazing. But also as well, to acknowledge also, going back to Renée as playing the role of Jeanne, she was the original Catherine of Aragon on the original studio cast album, so if you did not know that. And I already knew Zizi Strallen also from playing the role of Mary Poppins. And but also she's done a few other shows as well as this as well. But as I said already, I will also, I think most importantly, I also want to give a massive acknowledgement also to the incredible Millie O'Connell, a former Sixth Queen, also one of my favourite performers at the moment in the West End, playing the role of Nicole, who played a prostitute, but also a very close friend. Also in helping out with the plot of trying to get away with not just trying to steal a diamond necklace, but actually convince Marie Antoinette of buying it. And it got very technical. It was very clever how it was all done on stage, but the way that Renée told the story, because she introduced herself. It was a very immersive show. It actually broke the fourth wall. She literally interacted with you as the character, and there were loads of little comedic pauses and between the songs. And also as well, I think one other person which I think who was absolutely hilarious in the whole show was Travis Ross playing the role of the Cardinal. And also as well, a massive also shout out to the incredible ensemble of the likes of Lilia Eccles and Zara McIntosh, also another performer who's played the Sixth Queen as an alternate from the West End cast a few years back, and also Emma Rotherham Hunt, Tariq Frimpong, Sunny Lee, and Manu Sarwatts there. I do apologise if I did say his name wrong there. But no, honestly, guys, as I said already, I can, from what I can remember very well of this amazing piece, I think it still blows me literally away that it's such a shame it wasn't given as much of a chance to perform as the production as it is. I think it's really quite shocking actually how this has been kind of overlooked in a way. And I think also I can honestly acknowledge it in any other way that we can also go straight on to some comments, because literally I know a load of people who have been to see this just on before it closed, just from yesterday, as of doing this review. And also we've actually got we start with one of the things that was said by one of the writers of the show, that Morgan Lloyd Malcolm, saying, "This show, this cast, this team, grateful for the chance to work with them all and make this wonderful show. Gutted we don't get to keep playing to the wonderful audiences who have supported us so far. Excited for what the future will hold for it. Particularly proud of my partners in Creme, make that crime." I think that was a nod to, of course, that as a cake reference. Of Tasha Taylor-Johnson and Jack McManus, who I feel very lucky to have been able to work with these past few years. And also that is one of those particular comments. And also we have also acknowledged it here from Paul Taylor Mills, who has been quite responsible also for well, not exactly it closing, but he has actually said quite recently here that he had huge plans for this production after an successful, I think it was a UK tour run from last year. And he did say that from just over last week, he said, a little note, "Today was meant to mark the beginning of a 7-year journey that was cake. The world had a different plan. No one ever wants to close a show early. It's brutally humbling. When things don't go as planned, our instinct is finding someone to blame." And I honestly have to totally agree with that as well. That being out of public interest. And the fear of being that person is truly crippling. Making new work has become harder and harder, and each time it doesn't go to plan, it takes a bit more from you. Knowing that the next time you've got to dig even deeper and find a bit more fire. I'm absolutely devastated we're closing earlier than anticipated, but I'm proud I tried. My biggest fear isn't failing, it's looking back and wishing I'd had been braver. It's often in these moments that we learn most about ourselves, and I'm looking forward to having the space to do so. And honestly, I totally agree. I mean, actually, on the topic of that as well, I also had the amazing opportunity also to meet up with also Paul after the show as well, because this was actually an unofficial gala night for this show, which when I went to see it, and it was sold out, which was amazing to see. Some of you might not have noticed my costume, my modern Napoleon Bonaparte also was right near the front in the first few rows, and you could actually see my hat that I was wearing throughout the show. And I got a few amazing compliments. Some people even recognised me from YouTube as well, for me being my modern take on King Henry VIII of England, based off the musical of Six. But also, as we go back to some other amazing reviews that we actually had here from the public, and I would like to also acknowledge these in some way if it's possible, because I feel like that this is to really show that there is some public interest out there for this show, and I feel like that this musical deserves to be heard and also seen for everyone to see, because I feel like that in this situation it's one I feel like has been cruelly overlooked. And I also put it very well in my own review, which I will get to that very, very shortly. And we start with one of the comments from a fellow Instagram user of Matt Shoots Shows, with 2 dots in between the two other names of his page on here, and it says, "It's absolutely criminal that Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist, is closing early, or even closing at all. I saw it last year at the Lyric Theatre and loved it, but the show is in much better shape now. The score is brilliant, it's modern, it's 90s sounding with the music, and it surfs through multiple different music genres, and the book is great, it's funny, it's concise, and Zizi Strallen is simply incredible, not just in the role but in this industry. She is a pure and natural triple threat, that being of course an actor, singer and dancer, as a performer, who truly delivers the comedy in this role so perfectly. I'm sorry, but if you don't like... Oh, sorry, I misread that. I'm sorry if you don't cast a star like this and only give us 2 weeks of performances. This show must live on, and in the hands of someone who will love it as much as it should be loved. And I honestly totally agree with that on every single aspect of that review. And I can't honestly disagree with that. I'm just getting up also some of the comments also saying here from the footage that we showed you earlier on of the curtain call, and also the amazing encore bit as we saw at the end of the performance. From Christopher Hendai, once again being one of the choreographers on the show. And he said, there's something incredibly special about this show, and that's why the audience was straight up on their feet. A massive congratulations to this incredibly talented cast for your work and dedication to the show, and big love to this wonderful creative team. And yeah, so honestly, it does say about the people who I did say earlier on, so I won't say that again. But also we've got another review here from Charles London 323, and he said, honestly, I didn't know what to expect, but Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist at the other palace turned out to be such a fun ride. Imagine watching 18th century France while jamming to some really good pop tracks. From the royal drama to the catchy beats, it's one of those shows where you just sit back, enjoy the music and have a great time. I was vibing all the way through. If you're into fun, fresh takes on history, this one's for you. Share a friend you totally see this with. And honestly, I totally agree with that. I actually remember... if I hadn't said earlier on with from the top of the show, or this episode, I did say that I completely saw this at the last minute, and when all because I knew people from previous shows that I knew them from either seeing them perform on stage or even seeing them in any other forms of media. That being one of them being Zizi Strallen herself playing the lead role, since I knew her from playing the role of Mary Poppins for the last few years prior to that, before seeing this show. And we also had another review here, which I think is amazing also too. And I think this was this was from earlier on, just from yesterday. And it was a fond farewell to Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist at the other palace. Gone too soon. Emotions were high at the final performance. Vocals to die for in brackets. And congrats to the cast, led brilliantly by Renée Lamb and Zizi Strallen, Minnie O'Connell and Travis Ross, all crew and creatives. And also, one that I think is really amazing, which I was very fortunate enough to actually just see from earlier on today, before filming this, was by an avid fan of this show, and that is someone here known as Eleni Cashel on Instagram, and she said, Cake lit a fuse in my soul from the start, from the minute I saw the creatives and lead cast announced for the workshop tour, I wanted to be involved. Working on it once was a dream. Working on it 3 times has been beyond my wildest dreams. I have met the kindest, most talented people on every version of this show and made friendships that I hope will last a lifetime. It brought so much joy into my life, and I'll always be grateful for that. The revolution has only just begun, and I can't wait to see what's next for Cake. Well, that's wonderful. She also got a chance to meet some of the cast as well. I think I've even put up a few here from that I screenshotted from just from the end of last weekend. And also Teresa Godley said here, this cast, this music, this choreography, and this insanely talented writer. Excuse me there, I just had a silent belch there. Oh, there we go, excuse me. And also she also said, continuing on, we need this show back. Theatre producers, get in touch. And also we've had a comment from one of those videos that also was put up of, I think it was his name being Lockie Chapman. We might actually have the comment actually on your screen right now here if you're seeing it. And he says, why is a show with a house that full and making so much noise on a closing number closing early? WTF, basically, pardon my language, meaning what the fuck. I don't get it. And I totally agreed with that comment as well, because it was just totally peculiar to see that comment actually be said. We also had here from, I think it was Jack Shalou also. Amazing work from my very clever friend Tasha Taylor-Johnson and the team at Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist. Who would have thought that my love for musicals and UK garage music would be combined in one show? So that's amazing to hear there. And we also have, I think, one here from, I think her name was Charlotte, known as Char WX. And she said, ahead of the show closing from yesterday, yes, today this gorgeous show closes from following all the way back in Southampton, across the UK, to the Lyric, and now to the Other Palace. Following the show and seeing it blossom has been so beautiful. The cast of this Other Palace run has been so special and full of talent. Thank you so much for creating such a safe, fun and glittering space. Hopefully this isn't goodbye to this show, just see you soon. Well, honestly, as I've said before, I'm going to also acknowledge that in my review. We also had here, also from, I think this was also from Tasha herself, the writer of the show, one of the writers of the show that follows me currently on Instagram. And I'm sure you may remember your words here that I'm saying right now, because I'm also posting this right now on Instagram so that everyone can hear this. Honestly, some very important words that need to be said here right now while I'm filming this. And it starts, there is a lot to say about the state of the arts in this country right now. How as a middle-class white woman can I just about afford to keep writing in these hard times, and how some more interesting people with more vital stories can't. And that's a real, pardon my language, fucking a tragedy for the UK. But that's a post for another time perhaps. For now, I have the feel of the filthiest rich for spending yet more months in rehearsal rooms, sharing ideas and with the UK's finest artistic talent. And for my kids to have had quality time with their wonderful daddy and aunties, because she's also a mother outside of the show as well, for that also matter too. And a delicious icing on a cake to have gotten to know my co-writers Jack and Morgan even better. My apologies, this was actually Marie actually, or Morgan, sorry. Sorry, I was right, actually. I did actually say that this was from Tasha here. How we laughed, cried and gambled till almost, in brackets, 5. Despite the early closure, perhaps that's having your cake and eating it too. And goodbye, Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist for now, with a winky face emoji. We've also had one from one of my other followers on Instagram here, saying that wishing the cast of Cake a fantastic final 2 shows today from yesterday, and got to see it 3 times, and I'm so sad this amazing show is ending early. The whole cast are fantastic and I hope this show does come back in the future. And we've also had here, even from one of the main cast members herself, Zizi Strallen, who played Marie in the show. She did say, final 2 shows today as this silly little rich girl. I've loved playing Marie since day one. I guess today is the last time I get to shave my legs on stage. Well, maybe, who knows? Well, that was something that she did on one of the songs in the show, which I thought was absolutely hilarious, how it was all choreographed. And we also hear from her sister, Summer Strallen, who said, proud of my beautiful, funny singer of dreams, Sissy, the Zizi Strallen. It should not, in capital letters, be closing. Paul Taylor Mills being tagged. What the F, such fun and so current. Honestly, that's amazing to hear that as well. We've also had from May Dunlevy, also on Instagram. I guess that's that then. This little gem will be so missed, manifesting a swift return. And we also have, I think that is, oh no, hang on. We've also got one more comment here from Ellie, full of love here. And I haven't felt this inspired in a long time, in floods of tears watching the final show of Cake tonight. It definitely made the fire in my heart come to life again. Credit to the amazing cast and the creators behind this inspiring, thought-provoking, system-changing show. The theatre industry and the world need shows like this. Thank you, with multiple hearts there in the colour pink as well. So there we go. I mean, as all comments say there, I honestly would also like to follow up here, as I can now, before I ramble on any further, of course, we also can quickly hear also from her fellow co-performer, her own co-star, Zizi Strallen, that being Renée Lamb. She said, I just wasn't near ready to say goodbye to Eugene, but que sera, sera, whatever will be, if you've heard that expression, of course. To everyone who has helped make this show into what it was, and to everyone who loved our little show, came multiple times, changed their plans to come again, just a huge, massive, in capital letters, thank you. Cake the musical for, pardon my language again, fucking ever. Honestly, I tell you what, I know there's a few bad language quotes here, but it's not used out of context. You can tell that was actually said with a bit of frustration, and also as well, she really meant it. And I know I don't normally, I always take great pride in people saying bad languages with that, or saying bad words with that, but also here we've also got more here from Morgan Lloyd Malcolm saying, I love these people. We need to talk about what is going on in the theatre industry because it's not working. For now, I celebrate everyone who's made this show, and to everyone who came to support us, especially the incredible fans who were there again and again. We love you. This isn't the end. And wonderful to hear her say that. Also, because she did this as a photo dump post, and she done too. Isn't theatre a strange and wonderful alchemy of people? We made a show we're so proud of. We will do it again and again, and we will find new ways because the old ways don't work. And honestly, she meant every single word on that post. And to wrap it up, as I've said already, as I repeat myself again, this is what I thought of it, and I'm getting straight to it. Excuse me as I clear my throat. As we wrap up this review of Cake, the Marie Antoinette musical, and I put this in capital letters, a sugary sweet, revolutionary and pop-tastic musical production of the future. And finally got to see it from yesterday, that being of course because I saw it from last Wednesday. And despite the recent heartbreaking and sad news of this new, hopeful and unique production closing from later on this weekend due to a lack of high ticket sales, but seriously, I was literally blown away by everything as soon as I entered the auditorium. From the cool 90s/2000 dance, garage, alternative themed pre-show background music to the simplistic but effective set on stage, the vibrant and colourful costumes worn by all of the cast, and the incredible live music from the band behind the stage, once again ranging from electronic/house to even dance pop, in brackets, which I was literally obsessed with throughout. The energetic and powerful dance choreography from the ensemble, and the unique storytelling and historical/modern day references to the overall show setting of 18th century Paris in France. I also said with Zizi Strallen playing the role of Marie herself, was so glamorous, flamboyant, sassy, ditzy, animated and moving. The like of, once again, Millie O'Connell was so strong, playing the role of Nicole, supportive and hopeful. Her rap skills in her song Turn the Lights Down Low were very impressive to hear, but the star of the show for me had to be Jeanne. She was an absolute powerhouse, a believable storyteller laced with occasional quirky humour and some unbelievable, but I could also say unforgettable as well from adding on the top of that as well. Her song Tomorrow really hit me from the inside and inspired me to go and find my future success within the theatre/media industry, because I'm that passionate about it. And also had the absolute pleasure of bumping into the great show's producer, Paul Taylor Mills, after the show from outside the theatre. Here's hoping that this won't be the last time that we hear about this show. It thoroughly deserves all the love it can get from literally anyone at the moment. And I also had a wonderful few comments here. I also had an amazing reply from Millie herself saying, saw you in the audience, thank you so much for coming. And also Miss Eden Rose, who also reviewed the show as well. She also said, a fantastic show. I will be devastated if I don't get to see it again. And I also sent a message quite recently to Taylor, since I do follow her as well, and I said that to her that thank you so much for liking my recent show review of Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist here on Instagram, and most importantly creating and writing this truly remarkable piece of musical theatre. This show seriously doesn't deserve to close much more earlier than expected currently in London. It's already become my new favourite musical obsession. It's made a unique and empowering impact on my life, and I'm already planning to do a Gender Bend Jean cosplay for a future musical theatre themed fan convention from next year in 2025. I just hope that it has a long and promising future ahead of it, and I hope it returns to London again in the near future. And she also replied to that from just at the end of last weekend on the Saturday, and she said, I'm so pleased that you like our show. We love it too, and please send pics of your Jean. We hope it's got future too. I'm sure it will, in an exclamation point. Thank you for messaging. I really appreciate the feedback. And this was actually following on from the comment that she put down, because she did actually like my review originally. And also, with that being said, I think that does conclude my review of Cake, the Marie Antoinette, of course, playlist at the Other Palace. And now to give my official show rating, even though the show has now finished, but I think it deserves some more than ever before, all of the acknowledgement and appreciation for it, and even though I initially could have gave it 5 stars, but I think that was being a little bit too biased. I feel like there's still some improvement there. Of course, I know that the set looked quite simplistic, but the use of the venue that they had and the overall story, I honestly think it can do better, and this run that the show had has proven it, so I honestly can't say anything more than that. But once again, my official show rating for, once again, Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist of West End, an official gala night performance from the Other Palace in London's, of course, well, the south part of the West End, since it's actually the closest theatre near to the actual Royal Palace of Buckingham Palace. It gets officially a 4-star review and a recommend it. So it's just shy away from a perfect 5. But honestly, like I said, that I honestly, as much as I want to give it a 5, I felt like that was being a little bit too, of course, biased there. But it's not to say that I wouldn't have gave it, honestly. But what actually has made me want to do that, I think, is being a little bit more realistic. But I honestly cannot acknowledge or say more enough about what this show has meant to me. As I've said already, I was heavily inspired by the amazing character of, once again, Jeanne, played by Renée Lamb. And I feel like this could be the future of modern historical musical productions in the London's West End right now, because I feel like with these kind of shows, musical theatre is always there to have a purpose, and with this show talking about standing up for what you live for and wanting to reflect change, I honestly feel like it's still a very prominent factor, even as we know. I remember from someone who I knew very well from when I went to a spiritualistic church for many years, being all to do with mediumship. I actually knew from a former reverend and man of the cloth, known as I think his name was Nick. Actually, we don't actually see each other as much now because of I know that he sadly mistreated not just myself but also when the whole of our family got overlooked. But he did actually say that during one particular service to acknowledge, I think it was 1 year of for leading up to Remembrance Day, on the 11th of November, once again on the day of when the First World War ended, on Armistice Day, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. And he said, those people who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And I honestly feel like especially from that being one of the most bloodiest military conflicts in history, that also was very reminiscent from the French Revolution, even a few centuries before that. And I feel like that, you know, especially with the songs also in the show, I mean, of course we are going to be playing it out of this episode, but I feel like that, you know, with the songs from this show, they have got, they're so beautifully written, they're so beautifully produced to a professional level, and I honestly feel like that this, I mean, what is not to like about this show? I mean, it's got everything going for it, and I feel like that the way that this musical has gone on and had a remarkable journey, and for it to be tragically cut short is literally quite infuriating, to be honest. And I'm not afraid to actually get quite angry with this. The whole reason also, well, with me wearing this shirt, I mean, starting to feel, of course, envious and quite rebellious from just seeing how this musical work has been kind of overlooked. It really is. It shouldn't deserve this at all. And I feel like that, you know, if you honestly agree with what I'm saying, I really do appreciate it. And I feel like that, you know, with this show, I think it has got a great future ahead of it. It just needs to be embraced more by loads more people, because I feel like that, you know, with this style of musical, telling history in a modern way, even though it's maybe from a few different centuries, like with the likes of Hamilton also, that being one of those particular musicals that was around before the likes of Six even came around. And for this to be kind of almost like, not exactly a successor, but it definitely had some influences from those other two shows, as well as Les Miserables, one of the most successful musicals in the world still to this day at the moment, is still something that I feel like still needs to be acknowledged and also most importantly heard, because I honestly think that with what I saw from just last week, I hope that it won't, fingers crossed, will be the last time we see the show. And I hope that some of you out there who have gone to see it, I'm sure that you want to feel the same as I do, and I couldn't be any more, of course, humbled by that as well. So anyway, before it gets too much, unfortunately that does conclude and now, of course, finishes my overall review, once again, of Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist from the Other Palace in London's West End. And even though that this episode is a little bit more shorter than expected, but we have, of course, got a load more exciting things planned, and also as well, for that matter, we've also got a little taste of, even though that this is, of course, a show that I just saw from last week, unbelievably, there is also another show that I'm about to go and see, and also on behalf of my wonderful dad, John, and also my amazing mum as well, also Samantha, I am happening to go in to see something that has been very well talked about and also just opened from earlier on this week in the city of Guildford. And here's a little taste of what to expect on the next episode on my theatre vlog series itself of Theatregoing Revival. Coming soon to Theatregoing Revival.
I love him, but when the night is over, he is gone. The river's just a river. Without him, the world around me changes. Just say no. I say no. No.
Musical theatre fans,
Are
you
ready?
for MusicalCon 2024!
We're back. This October,
Thousands of you
we'll descend
on the XL,
London.
joined by a host of West End stars
And all your favourite shows.
for the world's
Biggest
musical theatre.
fan convention. Period.
If you're a theatre nerd, theatre kid, or just totally obsessed with musicals, then this is the place where you belong.
Consider yourself part of the family.
With cosplay, exclusive performances,
Meet and greet.
cast reunions,
Theatre merch. Backstage goss. Fan panels.
lip sync battles,
Masterclasses.
workshops, sing-alongs, photo ops, competition.
And so much more.
I am so excited!
This will be
A weekend-long
non-stop celebration.
of all things musicals.
Ahoy, let's go!
Join us at the XL London
On the 19th and 20th of October.
for our third incredible year.
You know you want to.
There's no place like home. This is for the fans.
Are you in?
Or are you out? Get your ticket and we'll see
You.
at con.
You're conning this year. Yeah, I'm conning.
But
No!
see you there. Mwah.
Yes, that's right, everybody. As I just said earlier on, I can confirm that from later on this week on Friday, I think that being more specifically on the 4th of October, I am going to be very fortunate enough to see the brand new show of the Love Letters tour from the amazing Carrie Hope Fletcher at the Regent Theatre in Ipswich. And I am so excited to be seeing the show. I know that just recently, even from earlier on, as of this week, also, we did actually see a post also from Carrie Hope Fletcher herself, and she did actually just say quite recently, want to say huge love to everyone that come to my show so far, and I was so stressed this whole week about the show, all the lyrics, whether the letters I had written were good enough for the show, how Mabel, her daughter, was going to deal with me being away for the first few days, and it all getting loud, and it was all getting loud until I walked on stage and remembered how much I love performing. So thank you so much for being so warm and welcoming and lovely and reminding how lucky I am to be doing what I do. And I'm so excited to be looking forward to be seeing her for the first time in almost 10 years, actually, everybody, because the last time that I saw Carrie Hope Fletcher was when she played the role of Eponine in the, as I mentioned actually earlier on, the very famous other fellow French-based musical of Les Miserables, and that was actually the first time I saw her in that show, and literally from that show she's gone on from strength to strength with other amazing roles such as Wednesday in The Addams Family, and also reprising the role of also Truly Scrumptious. Also in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, she played Jemima Potts in the original West End production back in 2002 alongside the great Michael Ball, and also with that as well, she's also gone to play the original West End, an off-West End character Veronica in Heathers the musical, and it was first done also at the Other Palace. And of course also I happen to be a very good also, I wouldn't say friend, but also I'm a fan of her older brother Tom Fletcher, also for in the pop rock band of in my childhood, that being McFly. And also before I ramble on any further, as well as that to look forward to, I can also remind you that this is your 2-week warning, everybody, because as of some of you that may not know already, I have been really excited to also say that I am preparing for my third time in a row to head once again to now the world's biggest musical theatre fan convention itself, of MusicalCon 2024 at the Excel Centre in London. It is back for another year, bigger and better than ever, and I am excited to announce that tickets are still available. About 80% of the tickets have been sold. I'm going there as a VIP guest, and I've also just had confirmation and just bought my meet and greet and autograph sessions just from earlier on today, because for some of you that if you did not know already, there has been some problems on the website since C-Tickets, the official ticket suppliers of the event, have been having problems, technical difficulties for getting the days wrong of particular things that or people that you may wanted to see. Also regarding if you are interested in taking part in any of the workshops and masterclasses there throughout the weekend convention, and that's also in hand. But I've already seen the amazing lineup of people that are also going to be included there. Carrie isn't going to be there, surprisingly enough, but also I have heard that some of the cast members of Cake, the Marie Antoinette playlist, might make an appearance going to support their fellow performers. And also, if I've not mentioned before, I know that Zizi was there this time last year to also do a dance workshop and also masterclass with a fellow co-star of Charlie Stent playing the role of Bert when she was in Mary Poppins, and before she left the show from last year too also. But anyway, as I've said already, guys, I can also confirm that if you are interested right now at the time of filming this, I have confirmed who I'm going to be going as, and also my plans of what I'm going to be doing. And you can be checking out that very, very soon from later on this week on Instagram with an Instagram live video, which I'll be talking and previewing what I've got planned for MusicalCon 2024. And it promises to be another exciting weekend, because I, over the last 2 years, I've fully embraced it, and to see loads of more incredible people going there, not just from around the world now, and also new people coming through, of course, the industry, and also to get the opportunity that you may have never met beforehand if you've seen them from previous shows, like I have done also earlier on this year also too, is an amazing also chance and opportunity to get that to happen also as well. But anyway, with that being said, I feel like I've definitely talked for a little bit longer here, and my battery's nearly about to run out on my camera. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Of course, totally unexpected for that matter, on my 5th and also 5th anniversary, belated anniversary series of Theatregoing Revival, and I will be seeing you later on this week, also on Friday, once again, the 4th of October, and I think that is actually the right date, if I can also just clarify that. There we go, yes. And I will be seeing you as I'll be covering the Love Letters tour from Carrie Hope Fletcher, once again at the Regent Theatre in Ipswich, in just a few days' time of this week, and also it will be the last show that I will be seeing before the big event itself on Musical Con, which, just to clarify, is happening on from the 19th to the 20th of October. And once again, you can also get your tickets also from that event, and also on the website just below there, and that being www.musicalcon.co.uk. Well, with that being said, thanks very much for watching for this other episode, another episode on my theatre vlog series of Theatregoing Revival, and as always, until next time, very appropriately since the last show that I've now seen was based in France, au revoir, adios, au wiedersehen. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you for another episode of my theatre vlog series, Theatregoing Revival, later on this week, all exclusively live here on YouTube. See you then. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Au revoir, mesdames and messieurs.
These bruises on my body, scars to my soul. Prison bars are strong, but they won't hold. So if you feel the fire deep inside your heart, are you the one? Are you the single spark? Are we done? Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Whew. And I know it's not even that warm outside, but I was literally sweating there. That's the first time that I've actually had to have my fan off with that show. Or also actually just doing with one of these episodes. But honestly, guys, I can't believe that's the first time in any other show that I've covered on this series. It's such a shame that this show had to be cruelly overlooked, and I just hope that this show has got, once again, a great future ahead of it. It deserves to get the love it just comes for it, basically. No matter who likes it, they just need to acknowledge it and appreciate for what this show has got. It's got so much giving for it, and it would be terrible to see this go, because honestly, with all of those amazing reviews that we saw from fellow theatregoers, I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't, of course, I'd be very surprised if this wouldn't return in the future. Well, honestly, I just hope that some people out there will start to realise that and I honestly think, I know I didn't just say that earlier on, but I think that is one of the best shows that I've seen And it's up there with the likes of what I saw with Frozen just a few months ago, and also Operation Mincemeat. Honestly, it deserves its place there, and I honestly feel like it's got to have another chance on showing how really good it is, because I'm really disappointed, and I know it was out of our control anyway, that it's always going to be hit and miss with these new musicals, and it's always hard, but I hope that for in the near distant future we will, and I mean repeat, we will see this return, because honestly, after that amazing performance that I saw, with also those amazing fellow performers that I like in it, I honestly think, hopefully, who knows what the future holds, but onwards and upwards, I would say. And let's hope that it won't be too long until we see it again very soon, whether it be across the UK or even back in London's West End.